How often do you say yes when all you want to do is say no? How often do you hide the real you because you're afraid of what others might think? Welcome back to Unzipped Lips. Again, I am your hostess, Mary Freshwater. And today we are unzipping the truth of authenticity versus approval and how these are actually conflicting things that so many things have primed us to seek approval over being our real authentic self. Now, I want to define the conflict because authenticity is living in alignment with you, with your values, your truth, and who you really are. Be that fabulous, nerdy self and don't care if someone approves of it or not. Because approval is a constant chase of validation, acceptance, and avoiding rejection. Now, I want to say that one more time because avoiding rejection. So many times we hide ourselves because we're afraid that someone's not going to like us. Yet they end up not liking us anyway. And we're left going, ah, if they only knew the real me. So you got rejected twice instead of just once. And when we're seeking approval, we don't understand, well, subconsciously, we understand on how society, our family, trauma primes us to seek approval for survival. I mean, all those times you had to put on a brave face, smile, meet your friends' parents that you don't really like. But how dare you say a word? You got to be the picture perfect child. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble later. So, when we are looking at why we trade authenticity for approval, we really have to go to that core of survival mode. Or as we get older, the fear of rejection and abandonment, being alone. We have this ornate fear of being alone. Yet the loneliest feeling that you can ever have is not feeling supported or seen while being with someone. That is by far lonelier than being alone. We're conditioned since childhood also of being praised for complacent rather than living in the truth and being who you are. We're praised and hailed for being the picture perfect child, even though we're a ball of energy screaming to be alive. Our culture and today's societal pressures to fit in instead of standing out is one of the biggest ones. And I've talked about how our addiction for validation is ruling our lives. I mean, this is our prime tool to needing validation, social media. I mean, come on. We all want to be seen, but do we want to have them see the real us or the version that they're going to approve of? But we can never forget trauma response, fawning, people pleasing as a safety mechanism. And that's why we fall into seeking approval over being our true, authentic self. Because being authentic is being messy. Being authentic is having wounds. Being authentic is being human. Yet we seem to always put that all aside, seeking approval that we're the superhuman person, that we don't have wounds, no traumas, that we're so healed. We're a healing warrior. mm, that's a trap. I would know it because even doing what I'm doing, I'm still on my healing journey. And I'm not going to say to have all the answers because I don't, but I'm willing to find them. And I'm willing to present the authentic person that I am. Quirky, strange, running around in the woods, being just me. Because I found out the cost of approval seeking is by far higher than just being the version that I am. Wounded, healing, and human Mary Freshwater. Because when you sit down and really start to look at the cost of seeking approval, you find out you've lost your self identity. You forget who you are because you're trying to convert into something that everyone will love and appreciate. And I'm sorry, but you don't like everybody, nor is everybody going to like you. And that is okay. Your internal resentment and exhaustion, and you get burnt out because you're trying to conform, and that expels so much energy, so much more than just being you. Another thing I found is living a life that pleases others leaves you so unfulfilled. You end up feeling so empty. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have been the life of a party. And when I left, I was empty and drained from putting on a show, putting on a performance, and being so vibrant and lively. And yeah, it gets it gets old. It gets wearing. It depletes you. And then authentic relationships become impossible when you're seeking approval, when you're wearing a mask. That mask will fall apart sometime. And then who are you standing in front of? The person you love. Because then they start to find out everything you were was a lie. Seeking approval is living a lie and not being you and not being authentic. Do you even know how you like your eggs, or is it upon the person you're with? Do you like it scrambled because they like it scrambled? Do you like it over easy because they do? How about poached? Do you like it poached because they do? Do you know how to poach an egg? People, when they are seeking approval so much, they don't even know how they like their eggs because you start to lose yourself completely. And then when they are authentic with you, it starts to fall apart, which is harder and so much worse to deal with than being rejected because you just don't match. I'd rather have someone tell me that I am not conducive to their future because I'm being who I am. And in reality, we don't have a future together. I would rather hear that than have someone tell me that we're not going to work out because I'm too girly for them. Well, hi, I'm not very girly. I love wearing a dress, but I will run into the woods with a chainsaw and high heels on, finding it hysterical and go cut down a tree. That's me. And guess what? I like being that person because there's so much power in being authentic because that builds self trust, self respect, and so much self worth because you can stand in who you are and not give two shits on what someone else is going to think because it's you. You get so much more self confidence when you stop seeking everyone's approval and you start seeking your self approval. in your authentic person that you are. And when you start sitting in that, you start attracting real relationships based on truth, not performance. And I had to learn this. And most people who've gone through trauma, who are living a lie because they are living in survival mode because they don't know what else to do. When you come out of that and you get to start living as who you are and you figure out who you are and you start to love who you are, you stop caring what others think. Don't get me wrong, at times it still kinda hurts on how someone says something, but dang, you have so much more power because you are not looking for external validation anymore, and you get the internal validation instead. And that is so much more rewarding because, I can't even start to say how much freedom it brings when you're not seeking approval. Because you no longer need to juggle different masks and play these roles and put on a performance. Shit. There's so much freedom in that. And there's so much strength and resilience and being anchored in who you are rather than someone else's opinion. Oh, I get so energized because it's just like going from the meek, weak person I was, seeking the approval of abusers for so long to who I am today and the strength I have just to walk out the door and be who I am. And the right people are going to love me and enjoy my presence, and the wrong people are not going to be okay with me. And that is fine. Don't get me wrong, that was not an easy journey. It was a hard one, and it was a messy journey to get to this point. But once you can get here, it is amazing. And when I say it was messy, oh, honey, it was messy. Dirty secret, I went through some phases after an ending relationship. And those phases helped me figure out who I was. And my story is not neat, it's not pretty, it is messy, so am I. I love being messy because I'm human and I I don't wanna be anything other than the real person that I am. Still figuring me out every single day, but one of the biggest things, not only with the confidence and everything else, you get to learn new tools with navigating tension. Because when you're authentic, it doesn't mean everyone will be at your beck and call and everyone's gonna love you and, they're gonna share the same point of view. Not not even close. My friends and I have some wild conversations on our points of views because we're different and we're authentic in how we think and our thought processes. And we have very, very deep conversations that carry a lot of friction because we have difference of opinions because we're authentically ourselves and thinking independently of each other. It's pretty cool because it helps you grow and expand and become deeper into yourself. But when you're seeking approval, you don't get to have those growth conversations because you're disagreeing because that's safer. But safety will cost you and will be a prison. And when I say it's a prison, it's a self. You're sentencing yourself to prison. Sorry. Let's put this very frank. When you are seeking approval, you are sentencing yourself to prison. You are trapping yourself. You are getting yourself stuck. You are looking for validation from peers that are looking to judge you and convict you when you're seeking approval. And if you can have the courage to live authentically, you don't get stuck anymore. You have growth, you have truth, and you are living with freedom. You're not chained to a pole, you're not trapped, you're not stuck. But also being authentic means you need to have the willingness to be misunderstood and rejected. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's never going to hurt because at times it does. Like, I hear so many women talk about how they're being told they're too much. I'm sorry, but as a single woman, it wears on you when you hear that over and over. It does kind of suck, but I would rather be too much for all the wrong people and be just right for the right people. That to me is so much more loving because they see me. I'm not invisible. And that's another thing with the perception of approval and authentic. Think of it in a way of being invisible and being visible. Invisible and visible. Being seeking approval is staying invisible because people can't see the true you. They can't see who you are, what you bring to the table because you're staying invisible for safety reasons. You're not being present. You're not showing up. You're actually still hiding. When you're being authentic, you are being seen, all the good, bad, and ugly. So when you think about these things, it's what do you want in your life? Who do you want to be? And I know that seeking approval is coming from a place of trauma and can be a safety net that most of us have no idea we're even in. So let's do this. Let's lay out some tools for you to start to kind of find your way and navigate from seeking approval to being an authentic person of who you are. And let's start with one of the most basic things. And let's just pause and check in. Before making a choice, ask, am I doing this for me or for their approval? By stopping and taking a pause and breathing before answering and asking yourself that question, hopefully it can make you think and start to be like, would I really enjoy that? Or am I going to go do this just so that I can make other people happy? That is the first step of trying to find your authentic self and break the habit of approval seeking. That is kinda the beginning of it all, because then you need to start practicing saying no. S Building small boundaries at first to strengthen your authentic person. When you start to say no and stop the people pleasing for approval, and you start to say no, you start to empower who you are and who you could be. And you're seeking out understanding yourself. So it may sound so petty and so small, but practicing saying no gets you closer to being authentically you. Now, I'm not saying say no because you want to hide and be an introvert and stay in a corner, because that on its own, there's a whole nother level of different things that come with that. I'm saying no to the phone call at 2 a.m. for you to run out and do a grocery store run for someone who's 100% capable of doing it themselves just because you're afraid of the judgment that might be coming if you don't. That's what I'm saying. Say no to. Create boundaries. And one of the tools that I've talked about multiple times is journaling. And one great journal prompt is, where in my life am I trading my truth for someone else's comfort? And that is something I guess I didn't even talk to about up to now is we in approval mode are sacrificing so much of ourselves for other people's comfort. That's kind of imprisoning. You're sacrificing yourself for others to be comfortable. How is that a good thing? If you like World of Warcraft and you're a nerd and you're sitting there with all your friends that love watching sports and you hate it and they don't like hearing about your gaming because, oh my lord, that's so. And you are in a corner of being uncomfortable around the people you are around, they have already rejected who you are as a person. Be your authentic person and go find people that are with you and can help you feel amazing and not alone or lonely when you're with others. That's a hard one because this is such a complicated subject. Because when you think about it, it really does come down to you sacrificing yourself for the comfort of others. I mean, it is. There's no way around that. You sacrifice yourself for the comfort of others. So instead of doing that, write down 3 non negotiable values and use them for your decisions. Use it as your filter to get to who you are and start weeding out the people who don't want you, the authentic you. It's okay. It's okay that not every person is right for you or to be in your life. It's okay. So I want to leave you with a few things. Approval is fleeting. It shifts with the crowd. It's never steady. Approval will never be steady. Depending on who you're around, it's going to change. And you have to change. You have to put on a new performance. You have to put on a new mask. You have to do all your theatrics. It's exhausting. But being authentic is enduring. It grounds you in who you are. Authenticity is so much better because you don't have to expel more energy being around someone and you can be energized and refilled instead. The world doesn't need your performance, it needs your truth. Which will you choose? The prison of approval or the freedom of authenticity? I challenge you to find the authentic you and let it shine. Because, I mean, it's pretty awesome over here. So, again, I appreciate you unzipping with me today. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. If this hits home for you, like, share, follow, subscribe, and I would love your support. And if you want to look at working with me, you can find my website at buildu.us. I have a clarity call waiting for you. I'm happy to work with you. I will see you on the next episode.